all my life. Been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life.
Welcome to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, Facebook Live, Twitter, Periscope, everything. You want it, we got it. Sterling Holmes and Darren Smith both live in studio.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for gracing us with your presence today.
I knew we were one day closer to getting that $1,400 stimulus check, so I said, let me show up to work today.
Is that tomorrow?
No. The Senate is voting on it right now, but I just know that once it passes, it's got to go back to the House, and then it goes to Joe Biden's desk, and then I don't know, sometime during the week of I think the opening round of the NCAA tournament, when we should be getting them checks in them, in the deposit box.
The amount of money going to be spent on sports betting because of this is going to be astronomical.
It's going to be the new Susu. I'm telling you, it's going to be the new Susu.
The people are like, you know what? I have $1,400, or could I turn it into $2,800 doing a little?
I'm trying to tell you. Look, if you build a parlay the right way, you can turn it to $150K. You only got to spend $1 if you build the right parlay up.
Okay, and the odds are very slim. But we do have a lot to talk about today. So much to get into regarding the NFL. We'll talk some Chiefs free agents. We'll talk about some NFL rule changes. We'll talk about some of the big names who are either getting released or coming back in the NFL. Darren, do you want to start with a little Chiefs free agency news? No, you know what? Let's start with a little bit of Royals news because that's probably the biggest news starting off. Royals will allow fans to start off. You have more details than I do. I'll let you take this one.
Well, look, basically the Royals announced, or they sent out a press release earlier today stating that they would allow upwards of 10,000 fans per game. They'll be in pod increments or whatever, but starting with the opening game April 1st, beginning with the first home game, they're going to allow upwards of 10,000 fans each game until, in agreement with the city, they're able to get more fans in there. So it's big news. Of course, we talked a little bit about it before. We talked some about it with Lebo on yesterday, and we talked some about it, I think, last week as well. But the sheer fact that now we're finally getting to an opportunity to where we can actually have fans in the stadium, and multiple fans, because initially we were thinking maybe 3,000 to 5,000 for the Royals, and then they came out today with the press release. They were going to have upwards of 10,000 fans. So that's a whole lot, and that's a lot more than what even I expected.
Yeah, I think I've seen anywhere from 30% to, I know during the playoff games, there's upwards of 40,000 with the standing room only. I think as far as seats go, this is still a very good number. It'll be fun because if we're being completely transparent here, 10,000 fans was about the 2019 amount of fans probably were going to games towards the middle of the season. It went when the team had no chance of going anywhere.
I was part of that 10,000.
Oh, same here. I was too.
No, I wasn't as a fan, but I was there covering the game. But I enjoyed it though. So no, it was fine. I mean, one, it's funny because as much sports we talk about, we don't really talk much baseball just because of where it falls during the calendar year. It's stuck in between, once it gets going, the NBA playoffs, and then as it closes or as it gets into the thick of the summer, we talk a little bit of baseball during the All-Star break. But then once we get to August, we start kind of shifting modes to, training camp and NFL football and Chiefs and stuff like that. So the fact that this is going to be a scenario now that we can actually go back out there as fans, of course, we could always watch the game, but being able to go back out there and seeing what this lineup and what this organization can put out there on the field and see firsthand is going to be is a beautiful thing. And not only that, obviously, if you're someone like John Sherman as the owner, you finally get a chance to have the city embrace you as the owner, and then what you're putting out there on the field is about winning. They see that you're serious about winning. They'll come out 10,000. And look, I mean, we could joke, they should be able to sell out 10,000 tickets or whatever. So, look, as long as they continue to put a good product on the field, I think they're 3-1. I know they won yesterday 6-5. If they just keep, I know it's spring training, but if they just keep looking halfway decent when the season begins, sky's the limit.
Well, and because I think so many fans are just starved to go to games to do something, especially when the weather is nice. I think the 10,000, that should sell out. Again, hopefully each and every game. Your first game you're going, what you putting on your hot dog? What you getting there?
Well, I expect to be in the press box, so it depends on what they have for us to eat. If they got regular food, I'm gonna eat the regular food. If they got box lunches, I'm going to grab a hot dog, put some chili on it, put a little ketchup on there.
Ooh,
I'm good to go.
Yeah. Mustard only. If you put ketchup on it, you better watch out.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, I'm a ketchup guy.
Mustard, jalapenos, cheese, and onions.
Bro, I'm not trying to go to the bathroom. In the second inning.
Yeah, what? Come on, iron stomach over there.
No, I can't do that. But look, they're happy about it. Obviously, Whit Mary, I would like to call Whit brother, but Whit Merrifield said just playing in front of a few fans right now, spring training has made the games much more exciting and interesting for us all. The thought of at least 10,000 fans in Kauffman Stadium on April 1st makes their juices flow already, and knowing our fans, will make it sound like it's packed. So I expect them to be quite honest. When you hear 10,000, a lot of the Chiefs players and other sports that players that reside in Kansas City, I expect to possibly see them out as well, just if no other reason, just to support their brothers in blue.
Yeah, and we saw that when the Royals were good and the Chiefs were just okay. Yeah, but I mean, seriously, they went out and supported the Royals, and I think because they're so close to the stadiums and the proximity, they seem to have a very good relationship together since they share a not complex, but they do share that. I guess complex would be the same word, would be the word. But
here's the thing, because I know you don't know this, but on the calls and even at times when we had a chance to be at the stadium and the locker room and stuff like that, I've asked those questions to Andy and others. Like what's the relationship between Roy and the Chiefs, and they'll say, like if they want to come over, they're more than welcome to, and vice versa. I mean, they really have like an open door policy. They can come over and watch practice, vice versa. I mean, they can come, the Royals, the Chiefs can go over there, do batting practice. Obviously, a couple of years ago, I think, as they were preparing for the playoffs or Mexico City, they had the kickers come over and, and they were able to set up a goalpost stuff over there so they could kick and practice over there. So, I mean, the open door policy, and it's funny, the general managers, they get along, but the communication departments for both the Chiefs and the Royals, they have worked together, so they help one another out all the time. So.
Which is rare because after working for the Sixers Flyers, they share a arena and they do not get along. Like they're not close. Like it's very rare when you have, because again, a lot of times they want something, you want something. It's very rare when you have this type of camaraderie between teams. So I think something that Kansas City fans and the community should embrace and cherish because this is not normal.
The other thing is obviously there was a period of time, obviously when the Royals were good in that early 80s, mid 80s or whatever. And then, of course, when they had superstars, George Brett, Frank White, Danny Tartar, Bo Jackson during the late 80s, early 90s, the Royals were good, but they weren't like playoff contenders. Sure. And, of course, the Chiefs, they ended up becoming decent once they got Derek Thomas and new management and stuff like that. And, of course, they start getting into the playoffs. So, and again, because of the proximity of the two stadiums and the two owners, they were always close with, Ewan Kaufman and Lamar Hunt. They were always close. So if you're a Chiefs or Royals, this is something that you like to see. And you said when the Royals were good, they were coming out supporting them. And then of course, when the Royals had that little downturn after 2016 and the Chiefs started picking up, Royals, they put on the red and go out there and celebrate them just as much. And of course, they've both also become big fans of Sporting Kansas City as well, because the other thing is the organization, they're doing things the right way. They don't drive up ticket prices. Well,
Royals don't.
Yeah, Sporting KC don't. Let me not add the Chiefs in there, but but for the most part, they are fan friendly organizations to where the market dictates what they do, and the fact that you got Sporting Kansas City, you got the Chiefs, you got the Royals, and to an extent further out KU, because they do kind of they do as a as a deep suburb of Kansas City, try to come out and support the things that happens here. And look, Chiefs players, they do go out to the field house because I have seen them out there, so they do come out and support. And so yeah. So I mean, so the fact that they're going to have fans, I think that they'll have a huge crowd, and I expect to be Thursday, April 1st, depending on what time of the game. May try to see if I can do the game from inside the press box while you're stuck here watching it on television.
I'll probably be there.
No, you won't.
Bet.
Somebody's got to run the show.
I'm going to be sick.
We'll have
beers.
We'll have
beers. Thank you. He doesn't even know yet. He has no idea that he's going to be running the show on April 1st. He's going to think it's an April Fool's joke, but we're like, nah, dude, you're really going to be
not
here.
Coming in. Yeah.
I do want to talk a little bit of Chiefs because there are 7 pretty, I don't want to say big name, but pretty important players who are becoming free agents on the Chiefs defense. I wanted to start with maybe the biggest name, and that's Bashaud Breeland. Breeland had a very good year last year. He had a good year before that. We know he gets penalized a decent amount. I don't hold that against him because cornerbacks in today's NFL, they'll get penalized. The way that the rules are set up now, receivers can kind of body you, and if you're a cornerback, you can't tug on their jersey, you can't do anything. So the penalties don't bother me. I think he's a very good number 2 cornerback, but I think he's outpriced himself for Kansas City. I think he may be getting this Kendall Fuller type of deal.
So you asked me, should the Chiefs resign him? Or
what do you think? Do you think he's going to be back in Kansas City? Do you think he's getting resigned? Do you think he's getting a contract elsewhere? What's happening with Bashaud Breeland?
You know what? The interesting is that because of how this year has played out, we haven't really had a chance to talk to him like I would normally would in the locker room. So I'm not sure where his mind is at as it relates to money. Yeah, and I say that respectfully because, again, Sammy Watkins was willing to take a pay cut to stick around. I'm not sure what Bashaud's issues are. And obviously, he played himself out of a contract because of what he did off the field at the gas station. But I think he's played well enough to be offered a contract extension. The question is whether or not the Chiefs are willing to lowball him, or if they're willing to see what the market bears. I think if you're Bashaud Breeland, you owe it to yourself to see what the market has for you out there. And if there is a that now I know Tampa's not, because I think they got all their young studs in there, they're loaded. But I think the Saints are loaded at the corner position as well. But again, Green Bay. Now, if you go to Green Bay, dealing with the weather, I think you'd rather stay in Kansas City. So and it's Wisconsin. I think for Bashaud Breeland, aesthetically, because I know he loves the pretty ladies, Kansas City is much better than Green Bay as well. Again, if the Rams offer you a decent contract, I'd go there.
I think it's tough because he's a guy I would not fault if he went after the money because he hasn't really gotten that super large contract yet. He thought he was getting it last year. Same thing with Kendall Fuller. When Kendall Fuller got that huge contract from Washington, no one in Chiefs Kingdom was like going to fault him because he was
just going back home.
Well, yeah, he's going back home.
Relatively speaking.
But he hasn't had his large payday yet. I'm not expecting him. Joe Watkins, for example, got paid and then took a pay cut after he's already been paid in the NFL.
Yeah.
Bashaud hasn't had his big payday yet, so I expect him to get, even if it's the Giants or the Jets, I wouldn't fault him because they're probably going to offer him a large contract.
Well, one, they can do that because I think some of those teams have the cap space again.
Sure.
If I'm Bashaud Breeland, if I'm going to go for the money, I would at least go to I'd at least go to a team that is either in a tax-free state, or a state tax-free state, that could be a contender, i.e., maybe the Dallas Cowboys, if you get everybody back healthy, you re-sign Dak Prescott, potentially, they're an 8-8 team, but they could easily be a playoff team as well. I don't have a problem you going there. Go to Miami, that defense, the way it is, the way it's coached, the way you play, it's Miami. I can't argue that at all. I could see him going there. Miami's on the cusp. I think they should have made the playoffs this year, but I think that they'll make the playoffs next year.
Yeah.
If you're New York, LA, only New York, if you can go up there, and because he does do music, I could see that scenario because he's there. New York or LA, he'd be able to pursue his music when he's not practicing. I would still say LA over New York just because it's LA,
Sure.
weather, sunshine, women for him, the entertainment industry and endorsements, and of course you can do endorsements and stuff up in New York as well. So, but other than that, I mean, it would be hard for me to really see him going elsewhere. Maybe Tennessee. If they would offer money, I mean that's a playoff team. It is a state tax free state. So other than that, it just be hard for me to just see him just picking up and going anywhere for the money.
I just think for me, I think the chances are he's going to be elsewhere than Kansas City to start next year, just based on his play, pricing himself out, and Kansas City liking their young guys. L'Jarius Sneed, Travarius Ward, I think is going to be coming back.
But how many teams do you think will still hold what happened at the gas station against them? I mean, you got to
Dallas won't.
Well, I mean,
the Cowboys don't do that.
Yeah, but we look at Eric Bieniemy. Whatever's keeping him from getting the head coach is still
absurd.
So
that's absurd.
Agree, but
I guess because he's not a player. I think if you're a player, a lot of Kareem Hunt got second chances.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, as long as a lot of times, as long as they switch teams, NFL coaches and the organizations just look the other way. They say we're giving this guy a second chance. That's kind of how it goes in the NFL. Yeah. Another guy I want to bring up, a longtime Kansas City Chief, is Dirty Dan, who's up for free agency. Do you think he's back in Kansas City? What do you think is happening with Dan Sorensen?
What was his price range? What, $3 million?
It wasn't much last year.
I think it was $3 million.
It was less than $5 million. I know that.
I think they bring him back. Yeah. Chiefs are pretty loyal. I mean, now that they've won it, they're pretty loyal. I could see, because you got to remember, if Dirty Dan doesn't make that stop on fourth down against the Houston Texans, we might not even be having this conversation. I think they bring him back. I think he gets a little bit of a pay raise. Yeah,
I think so too, but I don't think it's going to be a lot. And the reason why is he's more valuable in Kansas City than I think other teams value him.
I don't think he's looking for that much of a pay raise. I think he's looking for a raise, but he can easily go from $3 to $4 to $4.5 million and be okay.
I'm with you, and because I don't think he's a guy like I think Rashad Brilliant's going to get paid or get at least an offer, like a large offer. I don't think any team's going to offer Dan Sorensen a large contract. That's just my opinion.
If I were to offer a bigger contract between the two, I think I would do it for Rashad.
Oh, 100% I would. Yeah, I would too. But I think the way that he plays in Kansas City, it's towards his strengths as this third safety where he's not the type of safety that typical teams use where he's not going to get beat deep because we know he will get beat deep. He's not great guarding tight ends one-on-one, but what he does do is the dirty work. He does the little things. He plays up in the box. He's a pretty good tackler.
Yeah.
And he's made some huge plays in Kansas City that really stick out in our minds.
But again, for Dirty Dan, his value is really only to the Chiefs.
Yes.
100%. And so again, I think the Chiefs pay him out of loyalty, but they're not going to break the bank for him.
Agreed. TK, Tano Passanio, the guy who has a plethora of talent. We've seen glimpses, but we haven't seen the consistency. Do you think TK, the DN from Villanova, the guy who has some of the biggest athleticism, the most athleticism we've seen, do you think he's back?
For the price he was paid, yeah.
You don't think some team is going to swoop in and say, we see this athleticism, we see the tantalizing talent, and offer him a big deal?
No. I'm not saying he's not going to get an offer. I do believe he's going to get an offer. But you also got to remember, other teams are going to be in the same, in similar salary cap situation as the Chiefs. Now, there are some, obviously, like Jacksonville and others who got cap space. At the end of the day, for players like me, what do you value more? Do you want a chance to, if he's got a Super Bowl ring, do you want a chance to an opportunity to win more, or do you just want to go cash in? I mean, obviously, you're only going to work your Super Bowl ring on so many, and so as often as you choose to, whatever. So that's not important to you, and you want to go break the bank. Okay, then I don't have a problem with that because then but then also you got to look at his family situation. Does your lady like living in Kansas City, cold weather? Does she want to go someplace else where it might be nice and warm or whatever? But do you just want to, if you've been in for a minute, you want to just get up and uproot and leave to go somewhere else? Again, will the Chiefs offer them? I think the Chiefs will offer these players contracts, but it's going to be at the Chiefs' price. Now, again, they're probably not going to pillow talk with what they may offer one player over to another. But I think that these players, because some of them didn't make a whole lot of money. As we talked about Byron Pringle, I think he made like $540,000, and he's an unrestricted free agent. Well, it's cost effective for the Chiefs to re-sign him, instead of trying to go out. And so I don't know the exact number on some of these players. I think Dirty Dan was about $3 million, so I think I'm comfortable in what he was doing. I think Rashad Breeland only had a 1-year deal.
It was 1 year, $4 million, I thought.
Yeah, so
he's getting more than that. If he didn't have the whole incident, he would have gotten, I thought, close to Kendall Fuller money.
That's possible. But here's the other thing too. Your last game that you played on film, you didn't look all that good.
No.
Even though your last game was the Super Bowl, didn't go too well for you.
The thing with TK, I think Passanio is one of those guys where I don't want the Chiefs to let go, because he's someone I think could eventually put it together and be an absolute game changer in the NFL. I just have a feeling that some team will see the potential he has, take a bet, and give him a decent-sized contract. The team that I think does that is the Colts. The Colts have they have a very good relationship with Kansas City, obviously with Ballard and everything. They seemingly like to call the front office and see what's happening here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it is, and they have a lot of cap room to go with. If they don't bring back Justin Houston, would they go after another former Chief in TK, say, we think the athleticism is there, we'll let him grow here? Because that, to me, would make a lot of sense. If I was a betting man right now, I want TK to stay in Kansas City, but I think he ends up as a Colt.
When I look at this, again, I'm kind of going back to the salary type stuff, I just think, see, I don't know, because their value, most of these names that's on the list, their value is only to Kansas City. And now I will say, in addition to value for them, is that a lot of these players, I think outside of Taco Charlton, played most of the season, if not, before he came back. But a lot of these players, when needed be. So again, I think the Chiefs, out of loyalty, knowing what they can do and seeing the value of what they brought to the team and to the organization, I think they make offers to them. I just don't think it might be to their liking because of the lowering of the salary cap. But I mean, stranger things have happened with Brett Veach and the salary cap.
Yeah, someone like Damian Wilson, for example, going to be a free agent. Good this year. I mean, he was solid. But the Chiefs obviously have Willie Gay Jr. waiting in the wings. We all thought Willie Gay Jr. was going to start week 1. That didn't happen because we know Hitchens is going to be starting at one linebacker spot. That much you can pretty much write in stone.
Well, look at this. I know, and we joke a lot, at least I joke a lot about what the Chiefs are going to look for in the draft as it relates to offensive linemen and our receivers. But they could easily go back in there and try to find another linebacker.
I would love that.
And
I think they should.
They might find a linebacker that could actually jump off the screen better than Willie Gay did, especially if, one thing Willie Gay really needs to come back and be a full strength, because you don't want to have a history of being injured and being prone to injury to where your true value is not able to be seen during your time frame here in Kansas City. So I'm definitely hoping that he's able to come back from injury. Willie Gay is, because if the Chiefs do draft another person at his position, I don't think it's going to go. But I think he will end up falling the way of Darwin Thompson if he's not careful.
Yeah. Of the guys of Bashad, Dirty Dan, Mike Pennell, TK, Alex Okafor, Taco Charlton, Damian Wilson, those are the bigger name Chiefs free agents on the defensive side of the ball. Which one would you want to stay in Kansas City the most, and which one do you think is most likely to remain Kansas City Chief?
I'd like TK to stay the most. And what was the other question?
Which one would you like to stay, and which one do you think stays? Because I for example, I would want Bashad Breeland to stay, but I think he's the least likely of this list to stay.
Well, Bashad is second, I think, but I think TK is likely to stay. I think Dirty Dan stays because, I don't think he's going to try to be greedy. I don't think his value will be seen by other teams what it is to Kansas City. So I think he's most likely to stay.
Yeah. There's a lot of moving going on in the NFL right now. Guys like Golden Tate, veteran wide receivers, getting released. I'm not going to lie. When he was released, my first thought was this would be a very good piece to add to this wide receiving core.
Nah. I saw he played in New York.
Well, dude, you had Daniel Jones throwing you had Eli Manning at the end of his career, and then you have Daniel Jones throwing you the football. Good luck.
He didn't win me any money when I went on the parlays.
Okay, guys, for everyone listening, Darren's upset at Golden Tate.
No.
He
I
bet
didn't say he was
Golden
upset. I just don't think he's worth it.
And he was hurt and didn't even play in the game, so he was upset by it.
No, I mean,
you bet on an injured player.
No, he played in the games that I bet on for him. Yeah, early in the game, Monday Night Football. Golden Tate. He had a chance to win me some money. He caught one touchdown, but couldn't catch another pass and didn't get two touchdowns.
Well, yeah.
Hey, it happened.
Golden Tate is not some stud. I'm not asking him to be Tyreek Hill.
Well, again, I don't want him here because first of all, if you can't make Daniel Jones better,
no one can make Daniel Jones better.
Nah. That's your franchise quarterback. You got to be able to catch the ball. You got to be able to go all out for him. He couldn't do that. I'm not sure what he brings to Kansas City.
I think he brings speed, athleticism. Again, he fits the mold of what Kansas City receivers typically are. He
didn't show speed in New York.
He fits the mold. He was. Hey, I get it.
Okay, hold on.
The biggest concern I have is injuries.
So you want the Chiefs to invest in another Sammy Watkins? Got you quiet on that one now.
Yeah. No, I get it. Because,
okay, well, see, there you go.
He played 12 games last year. He played 11 games the year before. He has been hurt. Golden Tate has been bitten by the injury bug. I will give you that. See,
now you're going to make me sound like 45. I don't like players who are hurt. I like players who play. So, no. I'll pass on that one.
Fair. I'm looking back at it. The name, just Golden Tate, just jumped off at me. The 3 times over 1,000 yards receiving. He's been a stud in the past, but maybe playing with the again. If you're somewhat injured and you're playing for a 3-13 team or a 4-12 team, you may not rush back from injury. If you're playing on a chance to win a Super Bowl team, you may try and play through it. So I do think
you can still get cut.
Well, he did get cut. So
no, I'm talking about during the season.
No, I know. But my point is, though, I think that sometimes those can be different mindsets.
Yeah. Look, I think Golden Tate was a good receiver, but the fact that, like you said, he hasn't played a full season the last couple of years just makes me think of Sammy Watkins. If that's the case, you can just keep Watkins.
Fair point.
So, you know what? I do enjoy the fact that just how you was trying to bring Golden Tate to here that I can talk you out of it, just like I could talk you into finally doing some sports gambling. So I appreciate the opportunity to always change your mind about things, Sterling.
I got into sports betting. I did it. I buckled. Darren can, for a year of just pestering me with
it just doesn't make sense. If you're number one on this tally site that you say that you are for college basketball NBA, why not turn into some money? See if you're just that good.
I can pull the stats. Let me pull the stats for you.
I don't need stats.
I'm kidding. I'm giving you a
hard time. Because if you say number one, my thing is, okay, do the same thing there, and then, make the same prediction that you do there, do it on the bet site, put a couple dollars there, earn off your expertise. That's what
I'm going to do. But what we also got to do is take a quick break.
Do got to pay some bills.
This is Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
Are you looking for unique sporty clothing and merchandise that makes you stand out from the crowd? Do you love Kansas City sports teams? The Cherry Company designs and creates fashion-forward gear for athletes, avid sports fans, and everything in between. Check out our famous Casey Mahomes denim jacket at cherrysportsgear.com or find it in stores in the Made in KC, Lee Summit, or Plaza location. Styles, sport local, sport Cherry. Want a 20% off discount? Mention 810 Sports in store or use code 810 online. Stay on top and visit cherrysportsgear.com.
What we have, you can't find with the search engine. Maps won't navigate you there, but it makes a big difference when you find it. It isn't expensive or complicated. It's our simple, timeless values, like honesty and humility. They've helped us support our customers and communities for more than a century. And it's those values that guide us today as we seek new ways to serve you. That's tradition for today. That's Intrust Bank.
Honey, what should we do for dinner tonight?
I don't know. What do you want to do? I want to support somewhere local.
Have you heard?
Heard what?
Red Door Wood-Fired Grill has $5 classic burgers on Monday, and my buddy from work told me on Thursday they have the best jalapeno marinated fried chicken in all of Kansas City.
Get in.
Whether it be a juicy burger or chicken fried to perfection, there's something for everyone at Kansas City's favorite little upscale neighborhood joint, Red Door Wood-Fired Grill. What are you waiting for, KC? Get in here.
Car enthusiasts, looking for the best place to store and show off your car? Check out the KC Underground, Kansas City's car collection. KC Underground is part of the Kansas City Automotive Museum and provides a safe place to store your vehicle with 24-hour monitoring while sharing its history. Call today to reserve a spot underground for your car. Use the promo code 810 and you'll receive a 10% discount. Go to theksunderground.com or call 816-492-7147 and mention 810-WHB. If you can see the skyline, the KC Underground is just moments away.
During these challenging times, everyone is talking about the Freedom Loan exclusive at A1 Mortgage. After the financial crash of 2008, we knew there had to be a better and smarter way to finance your home. The Freedom Loan. It will take years off your mortgage, saving you thousands in interest. Need cash? No problem. Need a break on payments? No problem. The Freedom may be the last loan you ever need. The managers of A1 Mortgage could have any loan they want, and they chose the Freedom Loan. Why wait? Start saving thousands and getting your freedom back today. Call 816-822-8888. That's 822-8888 or apply at mya1mortgage.com.
A1 Mortgage, get your dreams a reality is what we do.
A1 Mortgage LLC, a Kansas licensed mortgage company. License number MC0001649 is license number 16-1556, and MLS number 268370. Terms and conditions apply, subject to change without notice.
We're back to Darren and right here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, Facebook Live, Twitter, Periscope. Do you remember this song?
Nope.
This John was about 10 years ago.
You know, it's funny. I saw on Twitter you talked about it. I was like, I got to hear this song, but yeah, it's fire.
It was about 10 years. Yeah, like most, you know how most basketball songs about players are, they're trash. It's like some random dude trying to blow up off it. This was really good. This was when he was getting ready to leave Kentucky and go pro, and he had a group come out and just give him a hype song. It was awesome.
I mean, it worked.
I thought of it because it's March and March Madness, and it happened right around March Madness, and dude's the man. I'm
really excited. I mean, you know, just programming note, I'll be back on Sports Radio 810 Sunday with The Ship with Darren Smith from 11 to 1. And, of course, on that day, we'll talk a little bit about, we'll talk some about the NBA All-Star game that's taking place. It's going to be taking place later on that evening. And I think we're airing that game on our station as well. So definitely look forward to talking about that. But no, man, I'm sitting thinking that next week, obviously KU plays tonight. There's some big college. We'll talk about that in the next segment, college basketball for tonight. But next week, Big 12 tournament, women and men here in Kansas City. And I need to check and see. It might be too late about women's credentials. But Big 12 men and women coming to Kansas City next week. Then the following week, the NAIA tournament. So, you know, Kansas City will have a lot. And I keep joking. That's probably why the mayor opened up restrictions and said, come one, come all. So, I'm excited. You know, we got a lot of basketball. I'm sure we're going to be airing a lot of basketball games during the March Madness. I know all the games are taking place up in Indianapolis. Probably got to try to apply for some credentials so I can go visit my sister for a couple of weeks up in Indianapolis and just sit there and just watch basketball.
This is the best. When it hits March, basketball just takes over. It's king.
I just realized I think we're going to be preempted some days during that time, at least on Thursdays and Fridays, I think, for the first couple of weeks, I think, because of the tournament, which is, I mean, it's fine. That just means I can sit home and watch the games.
We're balling like March Madness. It's March Madness, baby. It's March Madness.
jealous.
I can't play the rest of the song because of, words that the FCC will get us in trouble for, but when you hear Future say March Madness, it's time. It's time.
It is time. But you know what, though? Sunday, though, like I said, we're getting closer. We're inching closer to the All-Star game. Tonight is the last night for NBA basketball for certain teams prior to the All-Star break starting this weekend. But I was curious, Stolen. I know you're a young buck, but do you have a favorite All-Star memory? It can be All-Star game, All-Star weekend, or anything in particular that when you think about NBA basketball, you thought, okay, this is why I fell in love with the game.
I would say two things from the dunk contest. I love Jason Richardson's dunk contest. I don't know why. I love Jay Rich growing up. Vince Carter's dunk contest, obviously. That one was, it's over. Yeah, it's over. That one was just legendary. Some games were phenomenal. I always remember the Jason Williams behind the back elbow pass to Rafe LaFrentz, who got fouled. If he would have finished that, if he would have, again, we're talking about Rafe LaFrentz. This is obviously a name you rarely bring up on this show. And how did he ever become an All-Star is beyond me.
Those are the two things I'm still trying to figure out.
Did he go to KU?
Yeah, he went to KU.
Yeah, Rafe LaFrentz went to KU. He was an All-Star that year.
Went to KU 1996. He and Paul Pierce were freshmen there. The reason I know because my cousin, they all played in the McDonald's All-American game together in 1995.
Three-point contest was always my favorite event growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew all those dudes. I knew Jason Capono. I mean, that's a pull right there.
It's funny you talk about Slam Dunk Contest because we talked a little bit about how I think it's going to be a little poo-poo-ish on Sunday. But for me, it's really three moments that I can think of. And I've watched it since I can, remember watching basketball, which was probably would have been 1985-ish, I think. I was always watching wrestling. So that was my thing. And then Michael Jordan came into the league, and I don't even know how, Michael Jordan was just on my mind, but I think obviously you get commercials and stuff like that. He was commercialized even coming out of college. And so I remember the legend. Now I've seen Slam Dunk Contest before, when he was there, like his second year, I think his rookie year, second year, stuff like that. But it was obviously the 1988 Slam Dunk Contest between he and Dominique Wilkins in Chicago. Of course, he was also the All-Star Game MVP. Was in his backyard and stuff like that. And even to this day, I'll still watch it when it comes on NBA television. And from time to time, I'll just randomly just go search and just do MJ dunk contest.
Is NBA Classics still a thing? I used to watch NBA Classics all the time growing up.
Yeah. And so for me, just the back and forth and the artistry, I think back when I look at that, and I even look at stuff previous years. There was a year that people forget. There was a year that Jordan was in the slam dunk contest and actually lost. Because he competed 3 times and only won twice. It would have been 4 times, but the second year is when he broke his foot, so he wasn't able to play in it. But I believe in 86, I think he competed in it and didn't win. He won in 87, back-to-back 87, 88, but it was in like New York City or something. And I just remember there was Clyde Drexler, there was Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb, there was Jerome Kersey. I mean, Larry Nance. I mean, I remember a time when all the top players participated in All-Star Weekend. Not this LeBron stuff where he's too afraid to lose.
Yeah,
to get in there and can't do.
Blake Griffin did it. I'll give Blake Griffin and Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
Even though Dwight Howard was pretty young, and he did it recently too, but that was also
nostalgia.
Yeah,
but Kobe Bryant did it. What I mean?
Yeah.
The quote unquote baby Jordan, Harold Miner did it. And so. And I say that to say that I miss having names that we expect. Like, to be quite honest, there's no excuse that Zion Williams top risers or whatever they call it, and then of course he's on the All-Star those players, it was a rite of passage. Dr. J.
Yeah.
I mean, Dr. J competed and won in the NBA, competed in the NBA, in the NBA All-Star, won that, but then also lost it. I mean, players weren't afraid. Like, I mean, you win some, you lose some.
The one thing I will say, maybe the best dunk contest of all time was between two guys who weren't household names, Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon.
Yes, but how many dunks did it take for them to get that? To do it. I'm talking about the build up to it. Now that was a classic.
That was unbelievable.
No, that was unbelievable. But when a player back in '80s, early '90s, when they miss a dunk, they didn't take 15 times to have to try to get a dunk. Because one, they were under pressure. Because if they didn't, they just got a low score and they knew they were eliminated.
I liked the 24-second shot clock. I was a fan of that. That was
trying to get as many dunks in as possible.
No, you have 24 seconds to get a dunk down. That way you don't get fans. You have 24 seconds. The ball goes towards the other end of the court. Get to running. Better get something down.
So I just don't like all the gimmickry where you're trying to bring somebody in to jump over cars and bicycles and old ladies eating ice cream. I'm just not for that. Now I will say the another all-star memory. Larry Bird, now the rumor has I saw it live when he did, the whole warm up stuff, shooting stuff and shooting with his left hand, like, bruh, seriously. But the whole, locker room, I'm gonna kick your ass, I'm gonna kick yours, I'm gonna kick, boom, 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 stuff that you can't see on radio. He was just going there like, why I even say, and then went out there and still just did his thing. I mean, Larry Bird could come up. Of course, Magic Johnson, 1992 in the All-Star game. That was when he had initially retired, fall of 91 or something. That was after he lost the championship to the NBA championship to Michael Jordan. The following year, he had to retire right before the season started, HIV. He was able to come back, at least for the All-Star game, play in that game. He had the the last second 3-point shot, they shot one-handed or whatever, went down, did that whole little thing, and knowing it was going down but the bottom of that. And then, of course, winning the All-Star Game MVP, which led to him then playing in the U.S. Olympics that fall. So those are the three biggest memories that I remember. Obviously, Jordan won the MVP, I think All-Star Game MVP like 3 times. And, of course, who could ever forget Mariah Carey serenading Michael Jordan in that Wizards uniform dress that only she could. So, yeah.
I'm a 3-point contest guy. That's my go-to.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
And look, like Steph Curry has played in, and he's lost.
Yeah.
I think he lost to Klay Thompson one year, but I'm saying
3-point contest seems to be different than the dunk contest because I feel like people don't do the dunk contest. One, they don't want to screw up. If you miss some threes, you're going to say, okay, I was off. If you mess up a dunk and can't get one down, you become a meme. You don't want to lose in a dunk contest like that. For example, a 3-point contest, it seems to be an honor if you're selected for it. It seems to be like you have to be actually just killing it that year, or it's based on name recognition. Dunk contest seems to be different.
Yeah, but again, if you're LeBron James and
not now. Just dude's 36.
Yeah, but the story behind it was always that he felt like he was an in-game dunker, but he's always doing quote unquote dunk contest stuff in warm-ups.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and the crazy thing is like, if you just did what you did in warm-ups, they would just give you 50s because you're LeBron James.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the part I can never understand. And then I think one year he told somebody he would do it the next year, and then it's like, man, first of all, when people talk about him being the GOAT, I'm like, you can't be the GOAT because you never competed in the slam dunk contest, bro. I'm like, it was a rite of passage.
By the way, only 3 dudes competing in this seems very low. I feel like it's something like 5 and they cut down.
Well, again, you're talking about doing it during halftime. So
yeah,
and I swear, obviously we know about Obi Toppin just because of, he
was a stud at Dayton.
Yeah, Dayton last year, and of course, New York Knicks rookie. But I was talking to my brother about it. I mean, he was like, well, maybe it's a chance for somebody to shine. They better, because if they, if they go through this contest Sunday and they're missing dunks left and right, I'm gonna be like Clint Eastwood, get off my line. I'm gonna just be like, stick a fork in, stick a knife in this.
Darren's old man in this right now. Darren is yelling at it. He's upset. Though, I would like to see Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. Why not have them do it again? That was so phenomenal.
Zach's in he's an All-Star game, right?
Right. He could. I got to double check. He may have been in a 3-point contest. I don't know if that was in the past or if that was this year.
Yeah, no, the 3-point contest is coming before the game. The only reason why I don't think he would do it, and again, I that's why I can't go too hard on Zion for being in it because at halftime, if he's playing during the game, you don't want to risk injury. So I will give him that, because if it was the night before, I'd be like, okay, you need to do it. But because it's going to be at halftime, I'm going to pull back on my criticism of Zion Wilson.
Yeah.
Not competing in it.
Zach LaVine's in the 3-point contest, which is very impressive considering he's won a dunk contest. And if he can win a 3-point contest, that would be very impressive.
Didn't he have like 5 or 6 3-point shots last night?
Dude, he is carrying the Bulls.
He's carrying the Bulls. I'm going to tell you, look, we've now, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, I think before the season, I had the Lakers against the Brooklyn Nets. Did I not?
No.
Who did I have?
I don't know who you had in the East, because this is before James Harden went there.
Right, but I still thought I might have had Kevin Durant, only because I think he needed to prove he he was still back on that level. Obviously, I think getting James Harden helped, but I'm going to have to go back and look, because I think I had Lakers and Nets, because I couldn't see Milwaukee, and I didn't. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did have this. And I'm saying that to say that the way, because I was watching the games last night, James Harden is bad, man. I've become a fan of James Harden.
Dude,
now.
He's gone to the Nets. I watched last night too.
Yeah.
He went to the Nets and he became a legitimate point guard. He's throwing lobs to DeAndre Jordan like it's nothing. He's getting his teammates involved. He's making the smart decisions. He's playing more defense. He's getting rebounds. And then Kyrie Irving has the greatest handles I've ever seen an NBA player have.
James Harden is the one player, and because he plays for the Nets, like that's the one. Like I wouldn't even do it for the Lakers, but if I have money in my account, I will put money and build a parlay around James Harden, because he won't let me down. Now, granted, he's had 8. I think James Harden's going to go out and get a triple-double every game, just the way he plays, because he doesn't seem to get tired. I mean, seriously, like last night he had 29, 13, or 29, 14, and 10.
Dude, it was just...
And 8 turnovers, too.
That performance between him and Kyrie Irving, just the way Kyrie Irving...
Yeah, that was a couple games ago, yeah.
Last night was Kyrie. There's just the way his handles just impressed me. The way he's able to... It's like the ball's on a string. It's like the defenders have no idea where he's going to go next. Or if they do, it doesn't matter, because he's able to knife through. It's just very impressive. Before we take a break, though, I want to ask you, did you get a chance to see TJ McConnell have his triple-double off the bench with points, assists, and steals? He had 9 steals in the first half.
Against who?
Cleveland.
Oh, sweet. Wow.
NBA record, TJ McConnell with 9 steals in the first half.
No, I didn't see that.
And he had 16 points, 8 of 8 shooting from the field, and a triple-double off the bench. You want to talk about efficient?
That's efficient.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's efficient.
Kids hold on to candy better than the Cleveland Cavaliers were holding onto the ball, because that was just embarrassing. But we do have to take a quick break. This is Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
Get a stylish solution for every room with window treatments at Menards and save with 11% off everything. Get Window Images room darkening vinyl and aluminum blinds, faux wood blinds, and cellular shades trimmed to width for free. Or order a custom style and size. Choose from durable, economical options to stunning custom designs, all 11% off. Good through March 6th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Visit your Kansas City Acura for jaw-dropping deals on new and pre-owned Acura models. Get insanely low lease payments and huge financing deals on award-winning sedans like the all-new 2021 Acura TLX and best-selling SUVs like the 2021 RDX Crossover or the all-new 2022 MDX. Now's the time with test drives to your door and stackable savings for college grads and military. Plus, bonus rewards for current Acura owners and first-time Acura buyers. Shop your Kansas City Acura dealers today.
Spring is coming, so plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Exterminators. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine is a family-owned local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. In fact, check out their amazing reviews from all their KC area customers. They're also a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right. Refer a friend and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. Call today at 913-359-8627. 913-359-8627.
The Kansas City Comets are back in action this Saturday and Sunday for a pair of games against the Tacoma Stars and the Ontario Fury at Cable Dahmer Arena with playoff positioning on the line. Comets Arena Soccer is fast, furious, high-scoring action for the entire family. And all seats are socially distanced this season for fan safety. Get your tickets today for the Kansas City Comets versus the Tacoma Stars on Saturday night at 6 p.m. or Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. against the Ontario Fury by calling 888-9-COMETS or by visiting Ticketmaster.com.
Are you looking for unique sporty clothing and merchandise that makes you stand out from the crowd? Do you love Kansas City sports teams? The Cherry Company designs and creates fashion-forward gear for athletes, avid sports fans, and everything in between. Check out our famous Casey Mahomes denim jacket at cherrysportsgear.com or find it in stores in the Made in KC, Lee Summit, or Plaza location. Sport styles, sport local, sport Cherry. Want a 20% off discount? Mention 810 Sports in store or use code 810 online. Stay on top and visit cherrysportsgear.com today.
Welcome back to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, Facebook Live. I know you're a big Paul Abdul guy.
There could be some truth to that.
I do want to talk some NCAA basketball before we're out of here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a little bit of little March Madness talk. KU's been on a roll. KU is doing themselves some huge favors. When they dropped out of the rankings and everyone thought, oh my gosh, this KU team, they're done for.
The sky is falling.
Look at them now. I mean, where do you think they end up? What seed do you think Kansas ends up after everyone goes, gosh, they're going to be a 6, 7, and 8?
Nah, they're top 4. I just don't know. It depends on what they do during the 12 tournament. Right now, if you see how things are going right now, I'd say they're a number 3 seed potentially. I know, outside it would be, I guess, considered number 4 as a number 13, but I can see them as high as a number 3. Look, the one thing you got to remember when the tournament starts, home court's not going to matter. Everybody's playing in Indianapolis, so it's just going to be a matter of, your talent, my talent, throw the ball up, and may the best team win. I'm interested to see how Baylor bounces back tonight after their loss to KU.
They had a hell of a game the other night. Yeah. Was that against West Virginia, I believe, that went to overtime? That game was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That game started March off on the right foot.
Yeah, and so when you look at, right now, when I look at this, we have 4 teams that's in the top 18. You got Baylor, you got West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. Actually, I'm sorry, 5 in Kansas. So right now, to be quite honest, I think the best conference has got to be Big 12. And then you got Oklahoma, so you got 6 teams.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Big
12 has been The Big East was
sitting on the outside.
Okay, come on,
looking in.
Hey, Mizzou beat Florida last night on a game winner. Drew Smith, baby. Drew Smith bailing out Mizzou right now.
Yeah, Mizzou cost me money last night.
They had one
I had
of their
$1 on the parlay, and I had Florida +3, and Mizzou. I think Mizzou's gonna pull it out.
Yeah, I don't understand Mizzou. Mizzou beat Illinois, and Illinois just destroyed Michigan.
Yeah. Now that I was shocked by the display, because I think they beat them by what looked like 25 points on Michigan's home court.
Yeah, I mean, that was an absolute beatdown, and I think Illinois was missing one of their starters, which is even more impressive. I have no idea how good Illinois is.
Yeah.
I mean, again, they lost to Mizzou.
I didn't realize, because they were as number 6, I think it was, right?
Yeah, now they're 4th, and that's without counting the win they had over Michigan.
Yeah, and of course, Michigan, we'll see how they're able to bounce back. They host Michigan State tonight. So of course, that's cross campus, cross town rivalry. So we'll see how that works out. And then, Texas, Oklahoma. I mean, that game is tonight on ESPN, man. Woo! I got a Zoom call tonight, but man, I am going to have these games on in the background.
Dude, it's March, baby. This is what makes college basketball so fun. I like NBA better because the players are better. I get that. There's something about college basketball when the calendar turns, every game seems close.
Yeah.
Every game seems like it's decided by a game-winning shot. I feel like you don't see that in any other sport where, like NBA, it's some teams get blown out pretty often. College basketball, it's always like a game-winning shot. Something crazy happens.
College basketball in March Madness epitomizes the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Well said, Darren. It was nice seeing you today. This was Darren and Sterling.
Used to it.
Come on, you back tomorrow?
I don't know. I like doing it from the house.
Okay. Well, this was Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City. Until tomorrow, I will be in studio. Darren is still a TBD.
Game
time decision. But we will be back live tomorrow at 3 to 4 p.m. right here.